Now, you guys have heard me in this series talk about squeaky bum time before. Now, I'm telling you, this is the squeakiest of bum times we've ever been in terms of our become a legend career. This is pretty much the final bit of our season where we try and catch up with Kashiwa Reysol to win the Japanese First Division. We're away at FC Tokyo. In fact, a lot of our upcoming games are away from home, which doesn't fare well for us. And as you've seen so far from the highlights, our display on the pitch hasn't fared well for us so far either. FC Tokyo, they kept on coming, and they were creating a lot of chances on goal. 75th minute though, we finally got a bit of rub of the green, which meant we could break into the final third. Ball goes out wide, I make a run in from central midfield, float the ball into the box, and a very fortunate header from none other than CR7, or the Japanese equivalent apparently, of Yuma Suzuki, who just about manages to head home. I do think the FC Tokyo goalkeeper should have done better there, the way it kind of looped over him. I think that's why their centre-back was so frustrated, because to be fair, FC Tokyo had been the better team pretty much all round. Last kick of the game, I have a shot from distance. I'm really yet to score a belter of a goal like that from distance in my career so far. We got man of the match again, so it's just proving that we are a very important transfer for this team. We're playing very well in a central midfield position. I do like playing further forward, just off maybe the striker and attacking midfield position, but yeah, we've done well so far, but I'm not really considering it well enough until we have our hands on that Japanese league title. Next up, away at Shonan Bellmare, where historically, me personally, with V-Varen Nagasaki, I've not always had the best of games because we always tend to score and then they always tend to manage to pull a comeback off. So fingers crossed now that we're at a better team, that won't be happening. We took an early lead. It was Leandro that made it 1-0 with the counter-attack. I was pretty much trying to get in between the channels because they play with 3 at the back, so there was space for me to do that. I was getting chances, I was getting shots on goal, I was getting opportunities to feed balls to my teammates. You can see how many red players we've got swarming the box here. I'm really unlucky there for me not to score, and maybe when I get chances like that on my favoured right foot, I should maybe put a little bit more emphasis on shooting a cross goal rather than towards the front post. 32nd minute, I should really there have played the ball across goal to Leandro, and I didn't. I was a little bit greedy. I really want my first, or rather second goal in Kashima Antlers colours, but it doesn't quite seem to be happening. Good block there from F.A. Ambrose. Real good block from the Shonan Bellmare goalkeeper on the follow-up. And 69th minute came along. I was pretty much through on goal there, so I'm not quite sure why the referee blew his whistle. But it was the ex-Celtic man that gave away a penalty by bringing Kikita down in the box, and up stepped Hirato. You've seen him score one penalty before, and now you've seen him score another penalty again. 2-0. It gave us the breathing space that we wanted. And yeah, there we go. So really on paper should be an easy 3 points for us, but as we know, in Japanese football, nothing ever comes easy. Lee Jung-hyop. That's a mouthful. Sounds more like a Korean name, that. It could be Korean, I'm not sure. Yeah, he scored. Poor defending from us, really. Got complacent after scoring that second goal. Very, very soft goal to concede. And obviously at this point, we need to make sure that we hold on to this lead, because 3 points is really massive for us, considering that there's not many points between us and top of the league. But of course, that was too much to ask for. Noda got the equaliser. And, I'd like to explain to you guys how on earth we were at least trying to defend this corner, but I'm not really quite sure. So, when you're an attacking player like me, you just start throwing the kitchen sink at everything. One thing that's really frustrated me in terms of how we play here at the Kashima Antlers, I think it might have something to do with the fact that we play on short passing, is like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not sure if it's the fact that we're playing short passing or whether it's the fact that our strikers just genuinely aren't that pacey. But at V-Varen Nagasaki, I had like Marilla, Kono and Suzuki. They're constantly trying to beat the offside trap and make runs behind the enemy back four. I don't really get the similar runs here with Kashima Antlers, and there you go. I'm not quite sure there why the referee blew the whistle. It's ridiculous, really, because we scored. That would have essentially given us the win. The referee blew the whistle when the ball was in midair. I'm not really quite sure you can do that given that scenario. If you want to go back and watch it, you'll see what I mean. But we scored. The goalkeeper came out. He missed the ball, and the ball bounced into the goal. So I was fuming with that, watching that, because I just got subbed off. So I was watching that off the bench. Couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing on the pitch in the next game. Adamilson snogging the corner flag, but even worse. Yeah, it was a goal, yet another goal that we'd conceded. And, you know, it's at this point where you kind of just come to terms with reality that it's less about us playing well to win the league and more about us just doing what we're doing. Us not being the finished product, as you can see, especially when you've got players blocking through balls to you like that. And it really being more of a case of us needing Kashiwa Reysol to slip up, because unless we discovered some phenomenal form and started genuinely winning every game, and I don't think we're good enough at the moment to win every game. I think we need one or two more star players to come in. Yeah, we're going to need a miracle to try and win this league. And as soon as Yuyo Huang made it 2, that really just goes on to further assert what I was just saying just then. Really disappointing, you know. Gamba Osaka here, they are 6th in the league, so they are a good team, but we're at home. You know, we should be beating them if we want a gun for the league title, and we're just not quite there yet. I was named the Emperor's Cup assist leader. Obviously, all those assists had come in V-Varen Nagasaki colours. But, yeah. Up next, Gary Lineker's old team, Nagoya Grampus. The fans had the good old Despacito chant going, which was hyping me up. I'm now playing as a right midfielder. I requested it to the manager. I want to try and see if I can salvage something from this season. Feel like if I'm playing as a right midfielder, I can maybe give us a few better runs off the ball, and I get a bit more room to work my magic down the right-hand side. And early signs were suggesting that it was working. Obviously, I'm familiar with playing as a right midfielder from my V-Varen Nagasaki days. And it was a good save from the goalkeeper. That's another scenario where I should perhaps try and shoot more towards the far post when I am confronted with the goal on my favoured foot. Now, what's really intriguing is I was mentioning, obviously, actually, before I mention that, take a look at this. Wonderful strike. Great first touch from me. You know, I cut inside, found the space. New celebration from yours truly as well. Hopefully you liked it. A bit of a quick one, though. I was a bit disappointed with how quick that celebration, well, the celebration animation was. It wasn't being marked, and yeah, another left-footed goal for me. But yeah, so I was mentioning earlier on how our strikers and wide men just don't make the same runs that the guys at V-Varen Nagasaki used to do. I'm really not quite sure why, but it means that I don't have that many passing options. I think it's just due to the types of players that they are. So they're more kind of bigger, lumpier strikers, heavier strikers, larger strikers. But that makes it even more disappointing when I put crosses into the box as a right midfielder and they don't get on the end of them. It's kind of excusable at V-Varen Nagasaki because a lot of the time Murillo would be in there on his own, and Suzuki making the late run in at the back post was a bit of a smaller striker or winger. But yeah, very, very disappointing. Not to just be poor going forwards at this team, but to concede a goal like that. Kitchen sink time. I picked the ball up here, I'm running myself thin into the ground. I managed to keep the ball in play. I just want the ball back here to whip it into the box one last time and hope for the best. The header does get met. The header does go over the bar, but as you can see, I'm still down on the ground and I'm holding what looks to be my knee. Referee signals to the bench, tells him, come on lads, get the medic on, get the physio on. Yeah, and unfortunately, believe it or not, that was it for my season. And, you know, that happens sometimes in football. That poor result meant that there was 11 points between us and the team in first place. You can see we've just drawn far too many games. It was me out for the rest of the season. We managed to beat Kawasaki Frontal, who were in third place 1-0. We then lost to V-Varen Nagasaki, who were bottom of the league, guys. Bottom of the league. We lost 3-0 to them. And that pretty much confirmed that we no longer even stood a chance of beating, you know, Kashiwa Reysol to that top place. But we finished second place thanks to the goal difference rule. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better. But I'll take second place because it means we qualify for the Asian Champions League next season, which will be, good for me and my reputation, and it means that I can get tested against better quality players. Hulk won the Best Player in Asia award. I think he's currently still playing in China. Funnily enough, I was actually voted in 3rd place. I was only 11 votes off finishing first, so that could be something we look to try and win in the future if we can't get a transfer away from Asia. Hector Bellerin and the rest of the Arsenal team won the South America Best Player award again. Welcome to Pro Evolution Soccer. It happened last season. It's happened again. And that is basically it for this season. A disappointing end to the season, but we start fresh next season. As a Kashima Antlers player, let's get a pre-season under our belt. And let's try and take the Asian Champions League by storm, because the Kashima Antlers did win the 2018 Champions League. There's no reason why we can't do it again. Or the Asian Champions League, just to clarify. And as always, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.